Here's more wrestling news for April 17th, 2022, and your headlines for this afternoon include latest update on Paige's in-ring future with WWE. Is she getting back in the ring? WWE fans asking for their opinions over WrestleMania Backlash match card. Why is Sammy Guevara being turned heel in AEW? Jim Ross says more AEW wrestlers will jump to WWE when the time is right. AEW to welcome top name from UFC to an upcoming event in Las Vegas. Former WWE Superstar sends photo to Vince McMahon on the 2-year anniversary of their release. Shocking news regarding Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham after competing at AEW Battle for the Belts 2, and more. We're starting off today with Paige, who last competed for WWE in December 2017. After suffering a concussion during a Boxing Day live event inside Madison Square Garden, Paige would be forced to retire in early 2018, but has remained adamant that she will wrestle again one day. WWE has been reluctant to put Paige back in the ring due to her history of injuries, but we've now had perhaps our biggest sign of an in-ring return. On WWE.com, WWE has quietly moved Paige's profile from the alumni section to the current section, which is reserved for active in-ring competitors and on-screen performers. Paige isn't shown to be on either brand on her profile, but as far as WWE.com is concerned, Paige is ready to appear again to wrestle. The former NXT Women's and WWE Divas champion has always remained optimistic that she'll wrestle again, and tweeted last month that she's inspired by the returns of Edge and Bryan Danielson, both of whom were told they could never wrestle again, but have gone on to do just that. At 29 years old, Paige is nowhere near an appropriate age of retirement and could have years ahead of her in the ring, which could be a possibility with this change to her profile on WWE.com. For years, fans have criticized WWE for not listening to their audience, often pushing superstars that the fans don't want to see. Now, though, WWE is trying to hear from fans more, and what those fans say could have a major impact on the company's next big event. WWE has released a new survey asking fans their thoughts on the announced matches for the upcoming WrestleMania Backlash Premium Live event, with fans being asked how excited they are for the announced matches on a scale of 1 to 5. Right now, 3 matches have been announced for WrestleMania Backlash, but we'll have to see what changes are made to this card should WWE listen to their audience. AEW news now, as Sammy Guevara competed on last night's Battle of the Belts and teased a heel turn in the process. Regaining the TNT Championship from Scorpio Sky, fans serenaded Guevara and Ty Conti with a chorus of boos, but that's now what AEW is hoping for. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that AEW had not planned on turning either Guevara or Conti heel, but that this ongoing heel turn is AEW reacting to the crowd. It's interesting that AEW are choosing to book based on the fans' reactions, as the company refused to turn Cody Rhodes heel despite a constantly hostile fan response. With Guevara now a 2-time TNT champion, we'll have to see where his heel turn goes from here, but this wasn't what AEW had planned at first. When Cody Rhodes jumped from AEW to WWE this month, it marked a huge loss for the All Elite promotion, who had featured Rhodes prominently since their origins in 2019. Not long after Rhodes' WrestleMania 38 return, Tony Khan said it was inevitable that some of his talent would jump to Vince McMahon's promotion, and he's not the only one who feels this way. Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast, AEW's Jim Ross said that as long as big offers can be made by WWE, then AEW will always be at risk of losing talent. He added, "I can't imagine that somewhere down the road others won't follow the same trail. Most of them, the younger guys especially, grew up with WWE products on their televisions. I'm sure at some point in time there will be others. At some point in time, you run your course." It's no secret that WWE have shown great interest with certain AEW talent, with MJF and Wardlow high on McMahon's list. MJF has riled up AEW's faithful fan base by teasing leaving for WWE in 2024, and while it remains to be seen what MJF will do in 2 years' time, stars will leave for WWE, according to Jim Ross. More from AEW now, as the company has an interesting relationship with UFC and has used several stars from the Octagon in their storylines. Jorge Masvidal, Paige Van Zant, and Dan Lambert are just some of the big names from the world of MMA to appear for AEW, and now arguably the biggest name in UFC is coming to the company. On his podcast, JR revealed that Dana White will be present at an upcoming AEW event, which will be in Las Vegas in just a few weeks' time. JR didn't specify what event in particular White will be at, as several have been planned to happen in Las Vegas, but it's worth noting that Double or Nothing 2022 will take place May 29th at the T-Mobile Arena in Sin City. With UFC still a massively popular enterprise, having White at the event will no doubt be a big deal for AEW, and could be the start of even more stars from the Octagon appearing for Tony Khan. In April 2020, WWE released Zack Ryder from his contract, bringing his 15 years with the company to an end. Not one to be defeated, Ryder, now working under his real name Matt Cardona, has gone on to become a main event player of the wrestling scene and is the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Recently, Cardona won a 7th title as he holds various pieces of gold across multiple promotions and celebrated in a rather unique way. On social media, Cardona shared a picture of himself with his 7 championship title belts as a throwback to an image of Ultimo Dragon holding several championship titles himself at the same time. Cardona went on to say that not only did he take the picture with his various titles, but sent it to Vince McMahon himself, though we can't imagine what sort of reaction the boss of WWE will have had from the image. From being a jobber in WWE, Cardona has certainly proven his value over the past 2 years as the reigning NWA World Heavyweight Champion continues to add gold to his impressive championship collection. Back to the present, as Bo Dallas was cut from WWE in 2021 after a lengthy run with the company. Once considered a breakout star of FCW, WWE's developmental ground before NXT, Dallas was the 3rd ever NXT champion, but his success didn't translate to the main roster. Despite a strong start and undefeated streak, Dallas was quickly relegated to a jobber, and according to his father, Mike IRS Rotunda, Bo deserved so much more. As he told the Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw podcast, they were both successful. Vince, I don't think, gave my younger son Taylor, Bo Dallas, a chance, because Taylor's a hell of a worker, he really is. You can't teach that timing and stuff, and Wyndham, Bray Wyatt, had a great gimmick. He got over because he could talk. It was a unique situation, so I'm proud of them both. While Wyatt would have an impressive run on the main roster, Dallas never got many, if any, significant feuds, and now both will have to find their place in wrestling away from WWE's booking. And we're ending today with Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham, who competed at last night's AEW Battle of the Belts 2 event. During the show, Gresham defended his title against Ring of Honor veteran Dalton Castle, but took some nasty shots in the ring. According to a report from Fightful, Gresham suffered a potential injury during a gut-wrench sequence early on in the match and was checked out for a concussion by AEW's medical staff after the match. As of this time, there is no word on what the results of that medical test are, but obviously a concussion is the last thing Tony Khan needs now that ROH is back, especially for the promotion's world champion. As for Dalton Castle, it's unclear if he's officially signed with ROH or AEW, as he was a part of the mass releases from Ring of Honor last December when the company went on its hiatus. Purchasing ROH was one of the biggest deals Tony Khan has made, but there are already issues showing up, and we can only hope that Gresham is medically cleared to compete once more as soon as possible. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.